Julie Wernau from the Chicago Tribune, Journalism, Reporting, and Research. She's recognized for in-depth reporting on green technology, energy, and the non-for-profit sector. She's done reporting on philanthropic arms of large corporations and nonprofit green technology, sharing and policy organizations such as Environmental Law and Policy Center.
We're going to start with Julie, who's going to give us an overview of the research she has done and her perspective on where the trends are.
It feels like it wasn't that long ago that I was in this same kind of position looking for a job. I moved to Chicago only a couple years ago. I was unemployed. It was the worst job market ever. A recent Johns Hopkins study found that while other sectors have been shedding jobs for several years now, the nonprofit sector is actually still growing. It's not growing as much as it was, say, before the recession, but it is growing. In fact, between 2009 and 2010, it grew 1%, while it was 5% the year before in growth. The for-profit sector employment had declined 6.2% in 2009 and 0.9% in 2010. So that's big. I mean, you're talking about these horrible headlines all the time about there's no jobs, and actually here's this sector of our economy that's actually still growing in all this. Nonprofit organizations employ 10.5 million workers in the U.S. That's nearly 10% of all private workers. That's in front of manufacturing and retail. Obviously, as we said, the nonprofit sector isn't immune to what's happening in the economy. Jobs at civic organizations have particularly been on a steady decline since 2007. But the arts, professional services, health, social assistance programs have all increased. So think about this. When the economy is down, right, that's when the nonprofits take off, because they're solving the problems that are being created, right? The health problems, the poverty, the social welfare that we need. 50% of all nonprofit jobs are in the health field, 13% are in education, and 11% are in social services. Even though at certain times the for-profit sector may seem to be doing much better, it's not as steady as the nonprofit sector. There's much more wild sort of dips, and it'll go sky high and back down. In the nonprofit world, it's mostly because nonprofits rely on a whole diversity of funding streams. So it could be, grants and donations, etc. Versus in the for-profit world, usually they're relying on sales. So if sales go down, so do the jobs. The average hourly wage of full-time workers, this is 2007, in nonprofits, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, was $21.86 per hour versus $20.46 for private industry. So actually these workers are getting paid more than in the private sector, in private industry. When it gets up to management level, that's when you see nonprofits dip down, but for the average worker, it's better off. The healthcare field is still doing really well, and with boomers retiring, we are looking at a lot of jobs for the ongoing future to take care of them and their long-term healthcare needs. Everybody wants to be a professor. That's going to be a lot more competitive if you're looking to go to university. But the biggest thing that I heard from people I talked to is companies are looking for people who know how to raise money. Yeah. If you know how to get money in this economy, you've got a job.